The car you drive doesn't have to define you, but it can be used to make a statement. It could project wealth, maturity, maybe a sense of adventure. What then is the statement you're expressing to the world when you drive a car like this? The M Hero 917, a supersized, super-powered exercise in electric excess.
Welcome to Wheels Boy, where we cover the newest, coolest, and wildest vehicles from the Chinese car market. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. M Hero is a sub-brand of China's Dongfeng Motor, and this quasi-troop transport is currently their most expensive model, with prices ranging from $88,000 to $96,000 US before options.
The M Hero 917 is military cosplay at its finest, a vehicle that looks like its purpose is invading foreign nations when the closest it's going to get to actual combat is intimidating somebody out of a parking space at the mall. Even the colors, which include this matte black as well as matte gray and matte green, are clearly intended to accentuate the mercenary vibe. A major key to this impression is the seeming utter and complete lack of curves in this design. The many body lines and creases seem to have been cut with a kitchen knife. I don't know for sure that this thing had an all-male design team, but I do know I've never seen a design that seemed more devoid of feminine influence.
The 917 might not be as bulletproof as the styling would lead you to believe, but that doesn't mean it isn't capable. This is a serious off-road machine, but before we talk about diffs and breakover angles, let's talk about powertrains.
The 917 comes in both extended range and pure EV powertrains. Our test car is the former. That means it has a 1.5-liter turbocharged four-cylinder here up front, which generates power for a 66 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack and 3 electric motors, 2 in the back, 1 in the front. Combined, those motors make 600 kilowatts and 1,050 newton meters of torque, and will thrust this giant vehicle to 100 kilometers per hour in 6 seconds flat. I know those numbers are ridiculous, and yet they pale in comparison to the full electric version of this car. Its battery pack is 143 kilowatt hours, and it has not 3, but 4 electric motors, 1 on each wheel. All told, they make 800 kilowatts and 1,400 newton meters of torque. Despite the fact that that EV version weighs 3,300 kilograms, or around 7,300 pounds, they will push the EV version to 100 kilometers per hour in just 4.2 seconds. I swear to God, somewhere in the M Hero offices is a giant banner that reads, "Overkill is underrated." Now, back to off-road capabilities. The 917 has a body-on-frame construction and comes standard with all-season tires. However, you can option all-terrains like this. You can also option bead lock wheels. It has 3 locking differentials. Kind of. The front diff and the rear diff are mechanical locking. However, the middle one, that one's electronic.
Approach, departure, and breakover angles are as high as 36.8, 37.5, and 27.9 degrees, respectively.
Thanks to an air ride suspension, the maximum ground clearance is about 13 inches or 32.6 centimeters. It can also wade through 36 inches of water or about 90 centimeters. How does one begin to describe the interior of the M Hero 917? Well, the door handle is shaped like a Desert Eagle handgun. Said weapon is then emblazoned with the phrase, "Never back down." It gets better. When you close the door, it makes the sound of a bullet going into the chamber of a gun. My wonderful mother taught me, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's not the only part of this interior that seems to have been inspired by the fever dreams of a 13-year-old boy. The 2 handles here on the center console, obviously these are supposed to look like aircraft throttles. The one on the right is used to control your different off-road driving modes. Let's see, snow, mud, sand, rock, and wade. The one on the left, this is your transmission lever. Now, pulling it back and forth is already satisfying enough, but that's not the best part. The best part is the gear indicator. It's not just some light that indicates which gear you're in. It's actually a physical rolling wheel that spins as you change gear. This is both the dumbest and greatest thing I have ever seen.
The 917 has about as many screens as we've come to expect from a Chinese EV, i.e. lots and lots. The 15.6-inch center screen is flanked by two 12.3-inch displays, an instrument cluster on the left, and a passenger screen on the right. There's also a heads-up display and a digital rearview mirror. If you watch our channel, you'll know that's pretty standard fare.
So let's talk about something that isn't. Down here is a row of physical buttons that control everything from your 360-degree camera and automatic parking function to all of your off-road functions. That includes your front and rear locking diff, hill descent control, and what do we have here? Yes, this thing has rear steer. And just like a Hummer EV, it can crab walk. It's not the fastest way to get around, but it'll get your attention. I'm not done yet. The 917 also has a, quote, military-grade night vision system here on the instrument cluster. I'm sure that military-grade might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I'm sure that won't stop 917 owners from using it incessantly. The 917 is already a very expensive vehicle, and that's before you start taking options boxes. I won't bore you with the entire options list, which includes $3,000 US for those beadlock wheels and all-terrain tires that I mentioned before, as well as a $1,000 US exhaust simulator system, which includes exterior speakers. Oh my God. But I do want to drill down on the most expensive option, the $14,000 US drone package.
That package includes a GDU S400 drone, which you can command to take off, land, and return to base using voice commands from inside the car. For more complex maneuvers, you can control it via your phone, the remote control, or even the center screen of the 917. It can also carry up to 3 kilograms, which I assume will be used to deliver a steady stream of creatine and energy drinks to M-Hero owners.
The 917 is a premium vehicle, and it needs premium appointments. That means it has standard leather seats, which are heated, cooled, and massaging front and rear, and a 16-speaker Dynaudio sound system from their Confidence series. I know it's from the Confidence series because it's written right there on the dashboard. So, does this interior feel premium or upscale? Let me put it this way. It's at least as premium as a Hummer EV. Well, that might be damning with faint praise, actually. Are you interested in buying this or any other Chinese vehicle and you don't live in the United States or Canada? Reach out to us via email at sales@wheelsboy.cn. We can connect you with a reliable exporter of Chinese vehicles. Yep, there's guns in the back row as well. I feel like it's a missed opportunity not to have a trigger that opens the door. Instead, use this button down here. By the way, window switches up here on the top of the door panel. Same goes for the front row as well. Your heated, cooled, and massaging seats here in the back row are controlled by an 8-inch LCD screen embedded in the center console. This is also where you can control your air conditioning as well as your multimedia and your overhead sunroof. The seating position back here, tower-like, but you still have plenty of headroom.
If you hadn't noticed, the 917 is a tall vehicle, about the same height as a Ford F-150. As a result, loading things into the rear feels like some sort of CrossFit exercise. That rear cargo area isn't very deep, but its sheer squareness means you can still fit a decent amount of stuff.
Behind the wheel of the M-Hero 917, heading into battle, or in this case, cruising through the city of Shanghai. I said that the seating position in the rear was commanding, but truth be told, the seating position in every seat in this vehicle is commanding. In fact, it feels like sitting inside of a lifeguard tower. You are nearly eye to eye with passing semi-truck drivers. Unfortunately, lifeguard towers do not make for very efficient transportation. The 66 kilowatt-hour battery pack in this car only manages to net you a pure EV range of 200 kilometers on China's optimistic CLTC cycle. 200 kilometers from 66 kilowatt hours is cartoonishly inefficient. Thankfully, you do have the range extender up front. If you factor that in, this thing can go a claimed 1,026 kilometers. The EV, with its 143 kilowatt-hour battery pack, is hardly any better. It manages 505 kilometers on the same test cycle. At least power isn't an issue, even in this EREV version that only has 600 kilowatts. Please believe me when I say, getting to 100 kilometers per hour in 6 seconds flat is plenty stimulating in a car this huge.
The 917 comes standard with a camera and radar-based driver assistance system with adaptive cruise control and traffic jam assist. I'd expect LiDAR at this price point, but advanced driver assistance doesn't really fit with the M-Hero branding, so I'll let it slide.
Despite the air ride and double wishbone front and rear suspension, this isn't an especially comfortable car to ride in. I kind of expected the crazy amounts of body roll, the vague overboosted steering. This is a big SUV, they all kind of have the same problem. But I didn't expect it to have this harsh of a ride. It seems like there's a lot of vibration coming up through this suspension. Of course, that's only if you take it in the context of road-biased premium SUVs like the Mercedes-Benz GLE. If you take it in its proper context, which is highly capable 4x4s, it's actually not bad at all. It's not a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon by any means, but it's at least as comfortable as a Toyota Land Cruiser, all while being way more premium on the inside. It's also much more maneuverable than you would expect for a vehicle that measures almost 5 meters in length thanks to the rear steer.
I know M-Hero's parent company, Dongfeng Motor, knows how to make a decent air suspension, as evidenced by their other premium brand, Voya. My guess is they decided off-road prowess was the priority in this case, not cushy comfort.
It's a shame I won't be able to put that theory to the test by actually taking it off-road, but honestly, I don't think it really matters. I sincerely doubt that very many people who buy this car are actually going to take it off-road. They're really going to buy it for the unique vibe. The M-Hero 917 is an oddity, a vehicle that takes the latest and most efficient technology and uses it to be as inefficient as humanly possible. Using this as a daily commuter makes about as much sense as wearing a bulletproof vest to play Call of Duty. Frankly, I find it bewildering, and yet, I bet they'll sell as many as they can make.